Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome CEO AppDynamics, David Wadhwani.
Hello, New York. How are you guys doing? That was okay. Let me try a different tack. How about them Yankees? Okay. I heard a couple boos and hisses, but for the most part, it worked out. Welcome to AppD Summit, New York City. We have a great day planned for all of you guys. This is a really fun space, and we have a lot of fun things tucked into different corners here. So make sure you make your way around the whole venue and check out for those little fun surprises that we have throughout. We also have a great day of breakout sessions. There's a ton of opportunity to learn more about AppDynamics. There's also a great set of opportunities to just learn about what's happening in the space of DevOps and Agile business and Agile app development. So make sure you check out your schedules and look and get to the sessions that you really want to see in terms of the breakouts. The other thing I like to make sure everyone actively thinks about is that this is an opportunity to spend time networking with each other. Everyone in this room is coming at this space and looking at digital transformation through the lens of IT, through the lens of development and DevOps, and it's such a great opportunity for all of you to spend time learning from each other. We have some amazing DevOps teams here. We have some teams that are doing amazing things with public cloud. We have some teams that are doing incredible things with microservices. Learn from each other. So as you go around the space, we have some opportunities for you to just sit and have coffee, meet someone, spend time together. It's a great opportunity. Now, I personally couldn't be more excited to be here in New York City because New York is our single largest market. And thanks to all of you and the business you've brought to us and the partnership we've had over the last few years, you've made AppDynamics one of the fastest growing enterprise software companies in the history of Silicon Valley. And it's great to see so many of you here today. I see a lot of customers that have been with us for years. I see many of you guys who have worked with so closely over the years. We now call each other friends. And I see a lot of new faces. In fact, if you look at the AppD events that we've done over the last 9 years, this is the highest percentage of new customers or prospects that we've ever had. And I think it speaks a lot to the fact that the industry is evolving and everything's actually picking up pace and change is happening even faster. Now, all of you come from as different a set of companies as you could possibly imagine. We have folks and companies from every single industry here, every single shape and size. We have some of the largest brands in the world here. We have some of the hottest new startups in New York here. And all told, we had over 2,500 people register for the event. And you're all here for the same fundamental reason, that you need to get closer to your users as they become more connected and as their expectations of what you deliver start to rise. And I find it personally fascinating that the more seamless life gets for us as consumers, thanks to mobile applications, thanks to wearables, thanks to voice, the more complicated it gets for us as technologists. Every action that your users take initiates millions of lines of code across hundreds of methods, across dozens of services, and across multiple data centers, often in the public cloud and private cloud environments. And you're on the hook 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to make sure that everything works flawlessly and that your customers and that your business are fully successful. So to keep up with this demand, I see developers, I see ops leaders investing in new environments that support more agile practices. Virtually every enterprise I speak to is migrating services to public cloud. And of course, you can't just lift and shift those services over. You need to rewrite many of them as independently scalable and elastic microservices that run in the cloud so you get the best benefit out of it. And while this helps by creating highly dynamic environments architected from the ground up for change, we have to remember that they still, unfortunately, rely in many cases on brittle services that were developed years or even decades ago on outdated architectures. All this complexity and the faster rate of change that you're being pushed into underscores that the old way of operating just won't work anymore. One CIO I talked to described running their environment like rollerblading on a high wire over an active volcano. And unfortunately, that's a pretty good description because at times it feels impossible to do what you're being asked to do. But you also know that failure's just not an option, because in today's world, the health and agility of your technology stack is the health and agility of your business. In fact, it's estimated that $6 trillion of revenue will move from those who fail to make it across the high wire to those who make the crossing. Put another way, $6 trillion are going to move from digital laggards to digital leaders in the years ahead. And that's why thousands of the world's biggest brands and the most complex environments in the world rely on AppDynamics to help them make that crossing. And we do that. We help every one of our customers make that crossing by letting them move fast without breaking things. We let them follow everything across an increasingly distributed environment. And we let them focus their teams on what really drives the business. It's that simple. That's AppDynamics in a nutshell. And overall, it's been going incredibly well for AppDynamics and our employees and our customers. In fact, things were going so well, we decided we were going to be the first tech IPO of 2017. So we hit the road in January, and the response was off the charts. And then one night, I get back to my hotel room, and I walk in around 11 p.m. while on the roadshow, and my phone rings. And it's Chuck Robbins, the CEO of Cisco. I was so tired, I almost let it go to voicemail, and I figured I'd call him back after the roadshow, but I thought better of it. Turned out to be a good decision. Turns out he was a huge AppD fan. I explained our vision to him, and he told me that he thought it was a bold vision worthy of a public company. But he cut right to the chase, and he pitched that the vision could be even bigger if we were part of Cisco. And given that Cisco is one of the most trusted advisors to enterprises around the world, it became clear to all of us that we could do so much more for you, and that we could innovate so much faster on your behalf if we were part of Cisco. And so we went for it. And Cisco and AppDynamics did something that no one else has ever done before. None of us slept for a few days. Rowan will be up in a little bit, and we'll talk a little bit about that. None of us slept for a few days, and we got the deal done just in time. We officially announced the acquisition on the eve of the IPO, just 36 hours before we were going to ring the bell. So with that as background, I wanted to give you a peek into Cisco's thinking behind the acquisition in general, and why AppDynamics in particular. Let's listen to this.
Technology is moving faster and faster. We're always in a state of becoming something new. Many companies are seeing the opportunity to leverage technology to connect all of these unconnected things, whether it's a factory floor or a car. They're finding opportunities to take technology into places it's never gone before. But ultimately, all of that stuff bubbles up to an application.
At Cisco, we come at things from the infrastructure up. We've been the network company, the data center company. We needed to be more proactive than we've ever been before. AppDynamics helped us visualize what is going on at the business process level. We've seen a 10x improvement in mean time to detect and mean time to repair, being able to pinpoint where the actual problem is. And this is improvement in productivity, the end user experience, improvement in our application architecture.
We want to deliver an experience to a customer that is driven by the business and the intent of the business. And the more that you can automate the decisions of your infrastructure and technology to help you do that, the faster you'll be able to react to your customers. You cannot do that without visibility at the application layer.
We were one of the largest customers of AppDynamics. We understood the value and the benefits that it could bring not only to our customers, but to Cisco's overall portfolio.
Our vision is to deliver the self-driving enterprise, the IT infrastructure that requires zero hands-on. In order to keep moving up that automation path, you need to have more and more visibility, more data. AppDynamics was a really big leap for Cisco because it brings data at the application layer that is at a scale and scope which is unprecedented, frankly, in the industry.
I think the role of IT is more impactful now than it's ever been. Our vision is to drive a secure digital business. not a secure digital technology. IT is at the center of that transformation.
Maybe nothing is as important as the role that IT plays now for business success in the future. The expectations on technology and how it's going to transform the world and how it's going to transform every business, AppDynamics is that key sort of magic that gives us tremendous amount of visibility into where we need to go and how to get there.
Maybe nothing is more important than the expectations that people have on IT to drive the future. I think that really sums up so much. And with that, I'd love to invite up Rowan Trollope. Rowan was the visionary behind doing the deal from Cisco, Senior Vice President, General Manager of IoT. Rowan.
Good to see you.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
So Rowan and team have been unbelievable in terms of all the support that they've given AppDynamics as we've come into Cisco. But take us back to the beginning. Take us back to what was going through your mind when you started thinking about putting AppD and Cisco together. Why was this such a big idea to you guys?
Well, the more that we talked to our customers, and I had been on the road a lot that previous year talking to customers about sort of the future of Cisco, and this was following Chuck becoming the CEO of Cisco and thinking a lot about where are we going to go with this infrastructure? What are we going to do with it? And I'm an app developer, and so my lens on this starts at the application layer and kind of looks down into the infrastructure. And what occurred to all of us was that when you're in the data center, when you're in the infrastructure, as sort of you heard Guillermo talk about, like we have that lens at Cisco sort of predominantly, but it occurred to us it became very crystal clear in listening to customers that they needed us to integrate end-to-end visibility all the way from the customer back all the way down to the data center and the infrastructure. And the only way we were going to get that is by vertically integrating the stack, essentially.
Right. Yeah, and that actually, from our very first conversation that we had, it was very clear that Rowan was thinking about it both ways, from the infrastructure up, but like you said, your background and your history is application down. Speaking of infrastructure, though, I was at Cisco Live with the rest of the team, was it 2-3 months ago? Something like that.
It's all a blur.
It felt a long time ago, but Cisco's obviously been in this space around software-defined networks for a long time, and the scale and investment that Cisco is making in the intuitive network has been remarkable for me to see coming in from the outside. Can you talk a little bit about what the intuitive network is and really how AppDynamics fits into that?
Sure. Well, with the intuitive network launch, which again happened a few months ago, I guess only a few months ago, it seemed like a lot longer. It's really, and I think about it as intuitive infrastructure or intent-driven infrastructure. It's another way of essentially saying self-driving infrastructure, where there are no hands-on. And when we came up with that idea, we were thinking about sort of this inevitability. There is an inevitability about the fact that infrastructure is going to become more intelligent, more automated, and it needs to be more secure. And in order to get to that place of the self-driving enterprise, we knew that we needed to have visibility to inform the intent. And it actually, I think what excited me the most about AppDynamics actually was the original founding vision of the company, that the app is the business. That connectivity all the way back to the business, to me, was the most important thing. Because what that does is it lets me understand what's happening and what's relevant to the business owner, and then use that to drive all of the decisions in an automated way. And doing that is really, really hard. And AppDynamics is the best at it in the world.
Yeah.
So that's exciting.
That's great, yeah. And from our perspective, that vision really fit when we had the conversation, because if you think about AppDynamics, we run very deep in the application and very broad across the infrastructure, whether it's a private data center where you own the network or whether it's in the public cloud, we'll work across all those. And in that context where you have the intuitive network from Cisco, that whole, I love the idea of intuitive infrastructure, that's the foundation where we make everything vertically integrated even smarter. So just for fun, if there's one thing you were to say you're most excited about for everyone in the room, what would that be?
I think, I'm a technology guy, I'm a product guy. Innovation to me is sort of what gets me out of bed every morning. And when I think about acquisitions and, especially this one, I think almost more important than the technology is the team. Not almost, more important than the technology is the team that creates it. So what excites me the most is getting to work with the AppD team. my view is that the AppD team is the best technology team in the world. And I have never been more thrilled to come into work when I get to go and work with folks like Bhaskar and the rest of your team. I mean, it is really, really a big thrill to get to work with the team and to be able to add more investment and drive more innovation. I mean, that is, to me, that's why I do this.
That's great. And just to that end part, Rowan's being humble there. What he has brought to AppDynamics and the investment that he's put into AppDynamics beyond what we were doing as an independent company has been absolutely amazing. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
I appreciate you coming. Yeah.
Thank you.